Okay.
So this is our virtual dissection table. So the form factor here is meant to replicate an actual cadaver table, and we're able to display life-size anatomy on a 1-to-1 scale. So this is our full-body female. The only thing that's been modeled here is the skin, and so if we cut in coronally, we can actually see the true-to-tissue, true-to-life tissue coloring here, because this was done before the embalming process. So you actually get that real coloring here at a pretty good resolution. Now we're working on segmenting the full body female, so we'll be offering that within 2 updates or so. And
is this done by radiologic imaging, or are you doing this by photography, or?
This data set, this was using the visible Korean. So what they did, they essentially flash froze a cadaver and then started doing digital photography and sanding it down from head to toe and taking incremental images.
Awesome.
And so the software recombines everything. So you can go ahead and make custom cuts as well. And so here you can scroll through. It'll scroll through the plane of that last cut. You can make up to 6 cuts and it will remember them. Now our full body male is a little more interesting. So here we have over 1,000 segmented parts, and so what you're able to do is you can come in and turn on or off certain structures or systems, and you can kind of create these presets, and you're really only limited by your imagination. So here, for example, we're isolating the skeletal system, and you can pull everything else away here. And we do have search functions.
Now, is this one animated?
So the surface models are meshes, but everything right underneath the surface is real patient data. So you can see here. So for example, the vessels, the lymph, nerve, and blood vessels are modeled because that data gets destroyed when the cadaver is sanded down. It's very hard to see. That kind of thing, but everything else here you can see. Let's say if we want to go and isolate the cardiovascular system, we can do that as well. So you can see inside here it is actually real patient data. Now the best part of the table really is the digital library. So the table comes pre-installed with 120 pathology cases. And basically we have everything from conjoined twins to ectopic pregnancy, and it's all real patient data based on CT or MRI scans. So if you have access to your own CT or MRIs, you can actually plug it right into the table and it will render it in 3D in exactly the same way. So let's just open a good one here. Most of the cases also come with background radiological findings, doctor's impressions, things like that. So this is how fast it would render your own data as well. Let's get it open here. So this is a CT scan of a post-op aneurysm surgery. And basically you can see where the surgeons went in here. You can actually control how much soft tissue you bring in or take away. So they use contrast media here so you can see the vasculature quite nicely. And you can move up to the level of muscle or fully up to skin. And you can also go ahead and explore the data. So if we come in here, you can actually see where the surgeons left the clips. And if we turn up the soft tissue a little more, you can start to see brain vasculature. You can see the circle of Willis there. And you can actually trace cerebral vertebral arteries up and down the neck. So, you know, things that are very hard to do on traditional cadavers, you can do very easily in a couple of seconds here. And, you know, we're not saying to eliminate cadaver labs completely because the tactile knowledge is still important, but schools have begun using it to kind of scale down their labs. You can perform virtual autopsies. One school has scanned their cadaver from their cadaver labs at a very high radiation and put it into the table, so it literally became like a pre and post lab review for that specific cadaver. So we can go ahead and change visualization settings here. Let's just take this down. So here you can see the airways pretty well. And again, you can still cut in at any time, whatever you'd like to see. We can also simulate an X-ray here. So let's say you want to do that, we can do that as well. Let's say if we wanted to move, here we can see lung tissue along with density. And at any time you have access to the original slice data as well with typical radiological presets here. So it just depends on what you're looking for. So we also, if you open it up for student use, so at any time students can come and create reference images. It'll take still images of whatever's on the table at any time. They can export it out. You know, we have USB ports here. It's fully accessible by network. It's essentially a very powerful PC. And anything that you can do on a regular PC, you can do on the table as well. You can hook it up to projectors, you can do screen sharing software with third-party software with it, project it out onto other students' computers. Now we do have animal scans as well. Why don't we pull up the dog?
Common for EMS programs now to start teaching that because canine responses.
Yeah.
Actually.
So here, let's just bring up the soft tissue.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So here we have dogs, a beagle, I believe, and again, you can go through and explore the data set.
Do you have a pamphlet on this?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to grab a brochure. We do also have our high resolution library that's regional, so it's all the same data from the full body male and female, but because it's regional, we're able to show that much higher resolution. Yeah, absolutely. So we get down to 0.2 count.
What does something like this cost?
So it's $70,000 for the full unit. It comes pre-assembled like this. You literally roll it out of the crate and plug it in, and it's ready to go.
Okay.
Domestic locations, we offer on-site training for free. And so it also comes with a first-year warranty, includes software upgrades, tech support, and replacement of any malfunctioning hardware as well. And you can purchase additional years of warranty on top of it. So every year we release one large software update. So it usually increases the digital library size. We're working on increasing the accuracy of segmentation in the male, and eventually we'll be segmenting the full body female as well.
Just buy yourself 30 seconds or 5 seconds.
Now, this is interesting. Here we have the curriculum.
I've seen the table before. One with the all the arteries and veins and then labels on them. That's not right.
Sure.
No rush. Just whatever.
So here, this is a sample of something. So this is maybe kind of what you're looking for.
Yes.
So this is a sample of our curriculum, and basically you can think of it like pre-made PowerPoints, where this is all using scans from our digital library, but they've been labeled for you. You know, the cuts here are all pre-made, and so you can view everything in the right way. So here we can go through the different views. And so we worked alongside Stanford. They were one of our earliest kind of allies for this project. So that's where we got the majority of the scan data from, as well as the curriculum project here.
And you have a website?
We do.
And what is the website?
So it's www.anatomage.com.
Okay.
And you can go into the medical section there. It's full. It has the table gallery, has a lot of videos of the table's functions, things like that, where it's being used. Now let me show you guys the 4D heart. We call it 4D because there's a time component here. So this is just an example of what you can do. We offer complimentary software that comes with the table, allows you to make your own custom annotations and also videos. So here, let's just bring up the soft tissue once we get it going. Get it set on performance. So now you can see the heart beating in real time. Again, it is a CT scan, so you kind of have trouble seeing microstructures like valves. That'd be a little tougher, but it's still useful for students. You can still cut into it here. So you can go through different chambers of the heart, see how, show students how blood is flowing. And if you want to change the visualizations here, let's say we want to see the lung tissue. Now we can see how the lungs interact with the beating heart within the chest cavity here. And let's say you want to see just the lungs.
So
You can do that.
it's $495.
And if you want to change,
And it's a minimum of 50.
it just gives you different views. So the different visualizations will kind of work with different scans depending on what region of the anatomy you want to highlight.
Any Doppler ultrasonography to go in with this to show the blood flow?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure that'll be coming though.
Yeah, it's kind of we're always trying to find schools and institutions that will share their data with us. Any kinds of scans. So eventually down the line, we're looking to create a database, a shared database for all the users of the table, so they can have access to each other's scans. And as I said, if you have access to your CT or MRI data, you can load it right into the table. It will render in 3D. And you can start exploring your own data sets that way. And it has been FDA cleared for surgical planning and medical diagnosis. So
then you don't have to
it's getting picked up more and more in a clinical setting nowadays. We do, yeah. So we don't.